Lately, there's been talk of a very special moment: Jungkook and Jimin performing together on stage at J-Hope's concert. While nothing has been confirmed, just the thought of it has many excited. It would be amazing to see Jungkook share that stage again, especially at a time as important as Hobi's comeback. The relationship between Jungkook and Jimin has always been special. Not only have they shown a deep closeness over the years of working together, but they also share looks, gestures, and moments that convey something more than just friendship. Their connection is strong, authentic, and deeply meaningful. And while we don't always see it in public, many of us feel like there's something real between them. The end of J-Hope's recent concert had a very special energy. It reminded us of BTS's most heartfelt concerts. Warm, emotional, and full of memories. Many people are starting to imagine how wonderful it would be to see Jimin and Jungkook there, even if only for a moment. We don't know if it will actually happen, but the hope is there. Seeing JIKOOK together on stage, shining as ever, would be a treat that many of us have been waiting for with all our hearts. Because when they're together, something just feels right. And that can't be hidden. One of the most anticipated events of the year was J-Hope's special concert. The night was filled with lights, music, and very special moments. From the start, the excitement was palpable. But what really surprised the audience was Jungkook's unexpected appearance on stage. His presence transformed the show into something even more exciting. Jungkook not only joined Hobi to sing, but they also shared a connection on stage that was hard to explain. Every movement, every look, seemed to show a trust that had been built over time. The two of them radiated an energy that was so natural that it was impossible not to notice it. It was clear that there was a deep and authentic friendship between them, one that didn't require words to understand each other. One of the most talked about moments of the night happened after the show. As soon as his performance ended, Jungkook without hesitation approached Jimin, who was waiting for him off stage. The moment caught everyone's attention, not because it was exaggerated, but because it happened sincerely. Jungkook walked up to him as if his intentions had been clear from the start. In that brief encounter, the two of them showed each other meaningful gestures. Jimin, with a gentle expression, lifted Jungkook's face gently, cupping his chin like someone trying to see someone important clearly. That calm gesture made Jungkook smile spontaneously. It was not an ordinary smile, but a smile that appeared out of thin air, as if something very personal had been understood just by touching it. Jungkook let himself be carried away by that moment. His eyes reflected real happiness, a happiness that did not need to be explained. He looked at him calmly, as if he felt completely comfortable being there, right in front of Jimin. The atmosphere seemed filled with a silent intimacy, as if they both knew that what they shared was theirs, without the need to reveal it to anyone else. Some fans noticed that the gesture between them was very similar to a scene from J-Hope's music video, where two people recreated a similar closeness. But this time it was not part of a performance or a planned rehearsal. It was more like a wink, a moment that blends reality and reference, showing the trust they have in playing and understanding each other. It is not the first time that Jimin and Jungkook have shared a moment like this, but each one seems to have a different essence. Their relationship has always been admired by the public. They have known each other for years, sharing practice sessions, stages, trips, and personal moments that have brought them together in a special way. That closeness is reflected even in small gestures, such as a glance or a silent smile. And although sometimes the bond is hidden, there are moments like this when it becomes clear to everyone. Jungkook recently found himself involved in an unexpected controversy. It all started when photos of him during J-Hope's special concert rehearsal were leaked. In the photos, Jungkook was wearing a hat with the phrase in English, "Make Tokyo Great Again." At first glance, the hat looked like ordinary clothing. However, some social media users began to say that the phrase was reminiscent of a famous political slogan in the United States, "Make America Great Again." The slogan has been criticized for its political connotations, and some people thought Jungkook was sending the same message, even though he didn't mean it. Soon after, negative comments started pouring in. Some accused Jungkook of making fun of another country's political issues, while others considered it disrespectful to Japan. However, those who know his personality know that Jungkook would never act maliciously or hurtfully. In fact, the hat had no hidden message. It was just part of his training attire. As is often the case, social media exaggerated an insignificant detail, turning it into something much bigger than it really was. Jungkook didn't make any public statements, but his silence was also a way of showing that he had no reason to defend himself. He knew he hadn't done anything wrong. In the midst of this situation, one of the people closest to Jungkook was Jimin. Although there were no public words, those who had followed them for a long time noticed certain gestures that spoke volumes. Jimin remained close as he had done so many times, offering support in his own way. With a look, a constant companionship, and the kind of silence that only people who know each other very well understand. Their connection, which has been evident for years, was once again felt in these difficult moments. Not with big speeches, but with a calm presence that inspired confidence. Even though they didn't say it directly, it was easy to see how Jungkook found relief in Jimin's presence, as if the invisible bond between them reminded him that he wasn't alone. Situations like this teach us a lot. For example, how quickly some people can misinterpret what they see without knowing the whole story. It also shows us that sometimes a simple choice of clothing can cause confusion, even if there is no malicious intent. But most importantly, it reminds us that having someone by your side, someone who doesn't have to explain anything to be with you, can make all the difference. What Jungkook went through wasn't easy. Being in the middle of a controversy without having done anything truly offensive can make you feel misunderstood. But he chose to stand his ground, and he did so with the poise of someone who knows that he doesn't need to justify what isn't his fault. And though he didn't say it out loud, Jimin's presence by his side was a silent statement of support and trust. Despite everything, he showed incredible maturity in accepting what had happened. Rather than justifying his actions, he chose to apologize openly and clearly to those who felt inconvenienced. He did so not only out of respect, but also because he fully understood the responsibility that comes with being a figure who is known and admired by millions. In his message he wrote, "Hello, this is Jungkook. I apologize for having to write a message like this after meeting you again after a long time. I sincerely apologize for causing disappointment and discomfort because of the sentence written on the hat I wore during practice today. I admit that I did not properly verify the historical and political significance of the sentence before using it. And I am truly responsible for disappointing and hurting you due to my lack of knowledge. I can only say that I am truly sorry. There is no excuse no matter what the reason. I was negligent and unprepared. From now on, I will think more deeply about every action I take. I humbly accept all comments and criticisms about my mistakes." The hat was immediately thrown away. Once again, I express my sincere apology. This message touched many people not only because of what he said but also because of the way he delivered it. With respect, sincerity, and without trying to downplay what happened. During those days, Jimin was very close to him. Although he did not make any public statements about the matter, some noted how his support was constant and silent. Jimin and Jungkook's relationship is known to be strong not only because they are in the same group, but also because of years of shared experiences, travels, practices, hard times, and victories. Jimin is someone who knows Jungkook's character well, how he acts, how he thinks, and therefore he doesn't need to say much to be there. During the time that the BTS members have served in the military, there have been moments that, although simple, have left a significant mark on them. One such moment involved Jimin and Jungkook, two very close members who, even in the demanding environment of the military, found a way to support each other and stick together. Shortly after completing their military service, the two participated in a live broadcast. It was one of the first times fans were able to see them together again, outside of their military uniforms. Sitting in front of the camera, they shared memories in calm tones, revealing the trust and love that had developed between them over the years. Although they covered a variety of topics, one thing stood out in particular: their time together in the military kitchen. Jimin recalled with a smile how he had watched Jungkook work in the kitchen. Jungkook had been assigned to that area, and although the task was difficult, he did it with great dedication. Jimin saw him using a large shovel to move large amounts of materials, a tool more likely made for construction work. Jimin felt the urge to help him. Not because he had to, but because he wanted to be close, to accompany him in a routine that was very different from what they were used to as artists. He also volunteered for the kitchen support system. This program allows soldiers from different areas to work together for a week. Jimin tried to hold the same shovel that Jungkook used. He did so enthusiastically, wanting to be useful and understand the effort Jungkook put in every day. However, he soon realized that it was not that simple. Jungkook, who was not bothered, watched him patiently and explained that everything has its own technique and the most important thing is to not give up. Everything can be learned with practice. It was a simple moment, but a meaningful one. Gestures like this spoke volumes about the relationship between them. It was not just friendship or closeness within a group. It was a bond that went beyond the stage and the cameras. In the military environment, where discipline and order dictate everything, they found a way to keep each other in check. Jimin also learned to appreciate Jungkook's efforts more. Seeing him in such a different environment, fulfilling his responsibilities without complaint, made him admire him even more. Every day they spent together in the kitchen was an opportunity to strengthen that relationship. When the support week was over, Jimin returned to his duties, but he brought with him the experience and pride of being by Jungkook's side in such a demanding environment. It was a short time, but it was filled with moments that will always be etched in their memories.